Hello, hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Movie Chats with Ant and Rye. And today we're going to talk about the 2026 movie Send Help, starring Rachel McAdams and Dylan O'Brien, and directed by Sam Raimi. We really enjoyed this one.
Very much so.
We get too much into that. Just for the story, we have Linda. She's a bit socially awkward. She's working in the company of Bradley, who inherited the company from his father. Actually, Linda was promised a promotion, but she's not. Bradley is a bit of a frat bro, just wants to promote his friends. She's being passed on for the promotion, but she still keeps on working. They are going on a plane for a conference or a big meeting, and the plane crashes on a deserted island. Only Linda and Bradley survive the crash, and they survive on this island. And then there is the most messed up romance of all time that is happening between them.
Just the dynamic between them was just off the charts. Like, you couldn't have picked two better people to just play this. You know, Rachel McAdams is just mind-blowing in this film because she's
so good.
This oddball, you know, she's a loner, she's got no friends, she's kind of all ugged up, she's got all these moles, and when she's eating, she's got all this food on her.
She's very socially awkward. Which is funny because, I mean, it's Rachel McAdams. She's got like a lot of charisma to make her the awkward bird lady at the beginning. I mean, you need really to get into it. Which is funny with her appearance is she feels so at home on this island because she's obsessed with Survivor and she manages to actually survive, which is quite impressive. She starts to look much better on the island.
She gets more attractive the worse her, you know, what she's going through goes on. It's really well done. Now, I'll have a question about her identity going forward, but I love Dylan O'Brien as well. He's just such but he's not actually a bad boss because some of the points he brings across aren't actually that bad because she's like, you've got to, you know, eat your lunch in the lunchroom because, you know, people are here to work. You're not actually probably the right person for the role. And she's probably not actually, you know, you think about it, she's probably not actually the right person for the VP role, even though she's been promised. But he's just such an asshole about it. And he can't articulate himself right that he's such a prick. And you're just like, oh, you don't really want him to.
And look, it fluctuates, to be honest, because at the beginning, I didn't really like him. I mean, yes, he is very corporate in the way that he's dismissing her, and potentially she's lacking people skill to be a top executive, but that's something that she could learn. He's kind of dismissing that she's putting in a lot of work and he just wants to promote his friend.
Yeah. One thing that I think I wish they did a little bit better, if this is the pre-crash, that they had more time with Linda and Bradley together as work, because it's really day 2 of them working together is the plane crash. It's like that's just one day of him kind of going, you're not getting the job, you know, rah, this is what people think of you.
You know what? I kind of like it. I kind of like it that their dynamic is very, I mean, she met him at a Christmas party and she thought that he was somehow flirting with her, which was not the case. Obviously, she's just misreading signals. I think that's part of the character. But yeah, I kind of like that. Okay, there is just this very awkward thing at the beginning, and then they are making fun of her, and they end up on the island, and then the dynamic is being created from there. And that's what I wanted to actually say in my point earlier. Yep. The dynamic between them is actually oscillating in the way that at the beginning is a prick. You feel sorry for her, and then it shifts because she's not this goody two-shoe. She actually has a very dark edge to her. You find out later on in the story.
Oh, yeah.
And at some point, you do feel a little bit sorry for him. And then he does something else that makes him, okay, but this guy is evil.
Yeah. The back and forth of who's on top is really well done. So sometimes he's kind of coming around. He's an okay guy. And then she's kind of the evil one. And then it switches. I really like that dynamic where they did that. I like that. Was the foreshadowing that she's such a good survivalist because wants to go into Survivor, was that too on the nose or was that okay? I thought they really leaned in heavily, like they were panning across all of her books where she rope tying and knot tying and all this kind of stuff. So you kind of knew that was going to be the case because she's going to do well in this situation. You know, the plane crashes, she's going to be okay.
You know what? Because it's supposed to be a comedy. I mean, say a horror comedy.
Oh, definitely.
I thought that was actually pretty funny. The geeky girl that is crazy into Survivor, and it's not only just a show. She actually has the skills, and she wants to be on the show because she has this audition tape recorded where they are making fun of her. And then she does very well on the island. I love that. That's hilarious.
Yeah, I didn't think it was much of a horror. I thought it was more comedy. There was a few moments where it was comedic horror, like when she kills the boar. Like that was just hilarious. I was laughing.
It was hilarious. It's. I guess it's not necessarily horror. It's more gory. And they make the gore funny. And the boar situation is something. Or when she rescues him from the water and she just pukes in his face over and over again when trying to resuscitate him. That's awesome. The plane crash as well. I mean, you have some very gory imagery with all the teeth coming out and the plane being ripped off and people being sucked out. You got a lot of it's crazy imagery.
I thought that was a little on the note. I don't know if because I think it was made to be a 3D movie because that was very computer imagery heavy.
That was one of my nitpick. The CG, it feels very CGI, but at the end of the day, I think they really are leaning into let's make it gore, let's make it fun, rather than let's make it ultra realistic. And I was okay with it.
Yeah. And then there's the moment where they finally have that intense scene where he's found the house. We could spoil that in a second, but they're fighting and he's poking his thumb into her eye and he's almost like that was graphic. I had to turn away at that point. I was like,
that was it's very Sam Raimi. That's really, I think he's the only director that has this style and really can pull it off. Even at the beginning, when you have the very big close up when she's eating or when he's sniffing the tuna on the, and you have a close up of the nose, makes it very uncomfortable. And that's very Sam Raimi. I liked it. I really liked the direction.
Nice. Later in the movie, when Zuri arrives, what did you think of that? Did that take you out a little bit because all of a sudden, his fiance turns up on the island and the search party was looking here and I thought they should look harder. And
I don't know, I didn't mind it. I think it's part of Linda's arc as a character because something that took me out of it a little bit is at the beginning when she's seeing, well, not at the beginning, but when they're on the island and pretty early on, she sees a boat and she says, "Oh, not yet." That took me out because she seemed to be a very honest, straightforward person. And you feel sorry for her that she's being passed on this promotion, that all these people are making fun of her. And you're like, okay, that doesn't fit into the character. Why is that even in the movie? But then when you have Zuri that is coming with the guide, she kills them.
Yeah.
And then the fact that she has found this house and she knew about it. And that was such a great reveal. You're like, okay, I understand why this was in the movie. I understand a bit more about your character. You're not as good as you appeared to be.
Yeah. This had so much. Have you seen Triangle of Sadness?
Yeah.
So this reminded me so much of Abigail in Triangle of Sadness. So Abigail was kind of the nothing and she went to the island. She became the leader. Her whole identity changed. And so Linda and Abigail are side-by-side comparisons. And then exactly the same thing happened. They find a house, they find salvation, but they don't want salvation because that means they're going to go back to who they were and their identity is going to go back. And it's almost heartbreaking to think that they would rather be on an island with nothing than to go back to what they used to be.
Yeah, I really enjoy that because if you're stripping away that, it's a funny comedy, horror, survival movie, there is this layer of when she's in the office, he's the boss. You feel sorry for her. He's a privileged prick and she just has to accept it. But when you're coming on the island, everything, all the corporate ladder and all the mask, everything is coming off. It's the survival of the fittest. And she's the fittest in that environment. So she doesn't want to live it. Yeah. That's quite interesting.
Yeah. It's deeper than it can be deeper than what you think it could be. Because you're thinking, this is just a comedy movie. But really, it's actually it's all about your person and who you are inside of you. So, but then she does. We'll get to that part there where should we spoil the ending? Are we ready to get to that?
Because I think there is something. I think there is something to discuss about the ending.
Yeah. All right. So the ending is where we don't see it happen, but we're pretty sure, we're assuming that does happen, that she's obviously killed him, and then she escapes the island, and then it's 1 year later, and she's very famous and got all the attention on her. Yeah, she's kind of gotten away with it. She
finally got a promotion, and she's not as socially awkward either.
No, she's
graduated in that world, not being on the island but being in the real world. And I like the ending.
She's not a caterpillar anymore. She's a butterfly now.
Exactly. She's hatched.
Yeah. I liked it. I was fine with the ending.
I actually really liked it because, okay, he's evil, right? He's a bad person. It's been proven over and over that maybe he had slight moment of redemptions, but it turned out it was all manipulation. For her, she's a bit darker. If anything, she's dangerous, but she makes it out and she becomes famous. And I like that she doesn't necessarily get her comeuppance. She's not a villain, but she's not a hero. She's an anti-hero.
She's an anti-hero, yeah.
And I like that this is the ending that she gets.
Yeah. Yeah, I liked it. Yeah, I was fine with the ending. So that was going to be one of my questions to you as well. Were you happy with the ending? Yeah, I was happy with the ending.
I like that. Something I'm more on the edge is, let's say, the romance. I don't even know if you can describe it as a romance, but when they're in the house and they're saying I love you to each other, how much of that is manipulation? How much of that is genuine? Because they are stranded on this island and they need to somehow, to some degree, rely on each other for survival.
Yeah.
So they do have a bond. What did you think of that?
I never saw it as a romance. I never saw it. It wasn't a romance. There was that scene after when they go into the cave. I think
when it's raining and they need to get together for body heat. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't really think it's even implied that anything happened between them. I generally think that they just sheltered in the cave and just cuddled to keep warm. Yeah. The I love you part, I think it was just I've got mates who I say I love you to. So I think it was more of a
never said that to me.
Shit. Well, we haven't got that far yet. We've only been doing this for 2 years. I love you, Anthony.
I love you too.
I saw it as a mateship thing. It was like we're friends, we love each other, but we also hate each other. But I don't hate you.
Not yet.
Not yet. Yeah, there was hatred, and then there was solace, then there was hatred, and then there was camaraderie, and then there was times. There was that night where they were talking about her husband and what he was a drunk and abusive, and so she's like, right, here's your drink, here's your keys, off you go. Did she unintentionally kill him? Probably, but he killed himself, and then Bradley's had a horrible relationship with his parents, and that's kind of how he was created, I suppose. So there was times where they did really open up to each other, and it was just like really loved that scene. By the way,
I thought that was just
very good. Yeah, it was a really well written film. It was actually, you kind of said it before. It was like it's a bit like an onion. Once you kind of get through the layers of the film, it's actually a little bit deeper than what people might think about. So it was a good one.
What's your score?
Oh, this is your film, so you're first. So you
all right? I start first. All right, no worries. I give it a 4.5 out of 5. There you go. Had such a good time, and it's telling because I watched it yesterday night with my wife, and usually if the movie is bad to okay, if we're very tired, we'd be like, okay, we'll just finish watching it tomorrow. But this one, we're tired and we just watch it from beginning to end, and I didn't see it go by because I was so entertained. The actors are so good in it. The direction is awesome. The plot twists are very good. You don't get bored for 1 minute. You have very memorable scenes. The plane crash, the boar attack, the puking, the cliff. There's so many of them. The house. It's great. It's a great time. I think I would watch it again. I highly recommend.
Yeah. You know what? I was going to go 4, but I think you've turned me to a 4.5. So I'm going to do a 4.5 as well. Yeah. Just the more I think about it, the more I enjoyed it. It was just such a good film. It was just so well written, well directed. Rachel McAdams and Dylan O'Brien just did You couldn't have picked a better pair of leads. They just did such a great job. His laugh when he's just doing that maniacal laughter, it's just so funny. It just, even just thinking about it now, I'm laughing as well. Yeah, very, very highly recommend.
Nice. Well, that's it for today's episode. Thank you for listening. Give us a like, give us a follow. Put in the comment what you thought of the movie. If you want to watch it, it's available on Disney+. And we'll talk to you next week.